check out the Patreon and gain access to all the source code. Have you ever wanted to play as a human hunter? Today we will go over how you can add classes to other races. So let's just get started. So the first thing we want to do is that we need to change inside our core, or not core, sorry, inside our client, we need to change our DBC file called job base info. So let's find it, job base info. So it's here. Reason we need to do this is because we want to make the client allow the serve, or like when you go in game and you go into the character creation, it reads this and then it sets the classes enabled. So what we want to do, and this is used for the server too, what we want to do is add the class for the race. And as you can see here, I already have this, and I will in a little bit I will show you where you can actually download the DBC here and another DBC I made for Sylcore. So you have all the classes and all the races can play all classes. So right now I will just explain to you how you do this and how it all works. So first things first here, you can see the race ID, that's human for one, then orc, and then it continues to, I think this is dwarf or something. I can't really remember right now, but here you would enter one for Today we'll just go over how to add the hunter to the humans, and it's basically exactly the same way besides the simple database edits we will make, but otherwise in the DBC it's exactly the same way. But as I said, if you download the char base info and the char start outfit, which I have uploaded, you will have everything ready to go. You don't even need to edit after just putting them in. But let me explain here. So race ID is the race ID. Well, as I just said, one is human and then it continues. To find all the races, you can just open CHR races, and then we open here. And what you can then do is that you can see here it has client prefix, human, orc, dwarf, night elf, and you can see it continues. Then you just tick this ID, and then you know, okay, well, let's see, for here we start with all the night elves. So that's basically everything. So what you would do if you want to do this on your own is that I will just remove this real quick, just so I can show you how we would do this. So here, I would like to make a new one. So I will just copy line. Since I want the human to be able to be a hunter, hunter has a class ID of 3. And if you need to find the class IDs, you can see HR classes, and then you just say load. And you can see here, we have all the classes, class IDs. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Here, sorry, my bad. Here is all the class IDs, and you can see the names of them all. So you see hunter is 3. So what we first want to do is that, since I deleted it here, we just want to like paste the line or insert the line, and want to give it ID of 3 because I want to like replace, or not replace it, but change the ID to 3 instead, because I want it to be in the correct order. That's just me though, but yeah. So 3, then you set 1 in the race for humans, and if you have another race you want to do, you take the ID from here, and then you just put it instead of 1. And then the class, for me it's hunter, so that's 3. And as I said again, you do the same for classes. Sorry, if I could click classes, 3. Well, that's for me hunter. If you wanted to make someone be able to play a priest, you would take 5. So that's everything for this file. Next, we want to just close this real quick, just because it's easier. and char start, oops, sorry, char start outfit. Open the char start outfit. So this is where I will show you how to actually download this, because the char start outfit I made it already for you, and that's because the normal char start outfit is really messed up. So that means that sometimes a helmet is here for one of the classes, and then the next line the helmet ID is over here. So I have fixed it up for everyone to use, and I have also included all the starter outfit for all classes on all races. So human hunter already have everything the normal hunter for night elves example would use. So let me show you that. First I will go like this. I will show you my GitHub real quick. GitHub here, and what you want to do is that now I will just go to Sylcore, then repositories. Oh, sorry, my bad. Repositories, then the WoW 3.3.5a data under Sylcore, and here you can see all the different things. So the SC data one is the straight up data as I have written here. Like that's the DBC files, map files, vmaps, mmaps, camera, and other extracted data required by Sylcore. You can basically just click here if you don't want to go through all the releases. And then here we come to the optional custom DBC files, quality of life and reconstructed. So the first thing is you can just click here, and now you can see how I fixed it. So we have a whole list here where I painstakingly went through every single one just to make this list for everyone and cleaned the whole thing up. And you can see some keynotes here on how certain things work, and you can download it here. So just so I can show you how to do this, I will download these and import them into the server and the client. But first I just want to go over how this all works. So as you might have seen, we have class 1. Well, class 1 is the warrior, as we figured out before, and race is human. 1 is human. But why do we have 2? Well, that's because one of them is for the male character and one of them is for the female character. And as you can see, if you added, like if you created a custom outfit, you would be able to just enter that here and use that. But otherwise you would need to go over 24 IDs as I have showed here. And then you would need to put every single ID in here. As you can see, you would need to put every ID in here, and even the ID for heartstones and ammo for hunters. But I have done all that for you. And then not just making the item IDs, but for like showing them in the character selection, you would or character creation, you would need to put in the display IDs of everything. So, and the inventory types for everything. But yeah, that's all now. So let's just download these and get right into actually doing other things. So let me close that. Let me open here. So let's download the start outfit. Then let's go back to the main page. Click the child base info and click that one. Now we have both. So what we want to do is that first we start with the child base info inside our servers data DBC files, paste it in or drag it in. Next thing we want to do is that we want to get the other one we downloaded, the start outfit, and reconstruct it. Here is the documentation, basically just what you saw before, just in a text document for everyone. But here, drag this out here into the server again, DBC, and now we are done with the DBC for the server. Next, go into your client, then data, then the patch. I have patch folders. If you have a normal patch, you would open it with the MPQ editor and the DB Files client. And in here, you would just drag the char start outfit in, and then the char base info. That's all for the DBC part. So let's head into the database. Before we head into our database, I actually want to show you what happens if you just did what we just did. So if you try to create a character without adding stuff to the database. So let's just delete this character here. Now click create new character, and you can see you have all the different characters here, and they have all the outfits and stuff. So now let's just try to go human shaman, and because I haven't added the data for that, I haven't added the data in the database, only for the hunter, but I will go over how we add everything to the hunter from basic again. So let's just try here, randomize and create. So accept. Error creating character. Well, great. You see here we get a possible hacking attempt because the server doesn't know that there can be a human with the class shaman. So that means we need to change that and make a ton of things like the spawning locations, the spells it should learn from beginning, and everything is needed in the database. Otherwise it's a hacking attempt because it doesn't exist in the database or the server version. So let's just close WoW for now. Close the server because we will need to do that later anyways. Go into Heidi SQL or your SQL manager of choice. Open it. Well, in here, what you want to do is that first we want to go ahead and find the one called player create info. So you see all these player create. So just the player create info. And let me explain what this is. So what this is basically, this is for like the race and the class, and then the spawns and like the position in the world and even the orientation. So should they look one way or different ways, you can set it up as you can see. So what we first want to do actually is that I will just delete this line because that's for the hunter and I want to go over it in the video. So delete this. I will delete this. You should not delete anything in here. Next, what I normally do when I do this is that I go for like, since we want the hunter from like, it's a straight up copy from the night elf. So I will always go to like the night elf here, and then I will see, okay, can I find the one having the hunter class? Yes, that's free. So right click on it. And what you do is duplicate row with keys and click on it. Now you can see the red things here. That means that it's the duplicated line. So basically what I would do is just one here. And now we have added the player into like, we have added the class called hunter into the humans now. But you see here, this is for the night elf, so we would need to change all of this to match what is normally for the hunter. So let's do that. So 0 for map, 12 for zone, and then let's just copy position X, put it in here, position Y, put it in here, and position Z, and here. And orientation should just be 0. Doesn't really matter. It's just the way they spawn in. So now we did all that. I'll just refresh it so it jumps up here. It's a little easier to look at. And you can see it's a straight up duplicate of the other one, just for hunter as human. So that's the first thing. Next thing is that we want to go into, let me see here. I have my notes on the other screen just so I can keep track. Next thing we want to do is go in here into your player create info underscore action. Okay, so let me explain what this is. What we're looking at here is that we're looking at all the spells and things you learn as soon as you log in for the first time, or rather when you create their character. So as you see here, race, that's human, class, that's warrior, and then you see the button it should place them on the action bar. So this is all for the human warrior. But what we want to do is that since we don't want to, like, we could just copy something here, but you can see here how I've done it. But I will of course delete these so you can see how it's done. So let me do that. Delete rows, yeah. Okay, so now I don't have the hunter in here. The thing I normally do is that I go all the way down here to, again, to the 4, so that's Night Elf, and then we find the hunter, that's free, okay? Now click on them all, and let's just like click on one of them, and then right click and duplicate row with keys. Here, write 1, because it's the human and we want this as a hunter. And then for the button, that's 0 as we see here. And then we just put this in. So I can't remember what this skill is. So let's open Cura. That's a great program for looking in the database and everything. Let me show you here. So if you just go to the items, click here, and then you put in the ID. Oh, sorry, not items. What I'm thinking about? No, sorry, wrong one. Spell editor. Yeah, that's just me. I'm a little tired today. So go to the spell editor, go to spell ID, enter it, and you see that's the auto attack. So now we know we added to the hunter, human hunter, we added auto attack. Well, next thing we want to do, of course, is that we want to add all the other spells. So let's just click F5 to refresh, so it's all in order here. And we can go back up here. Now we can see we have the auto attack here. Right click, duplicate row. Next, we know it's button 1 for the next one, but we need to change the action, so the spell you get. So let's go down again. Here, well, this one we already did. You see the button is 1, so let's just copy this, and I recommend always looking in here because it doesn't really look that great that a human learns the Night Elf spell. So if you go in here, you search the ID and you see that's Raptor Strike. Awesome, that's not a Night Elf racial. So go back up here. And next thing we want to do is just paste it in here. So now we have this added. We have Raptor Strike. Next, again, right click on it, duplicate with row. Duplicate row with keys. 1 for human, 3 for hunter. 1, no, we want 2. Because this is the button. And then we want to see what the Night Elf normally has on button 2. Or button 3, if you count normally. Let's see here. Well, that's 7.5. Let's see what spell that is. Okay, that's auto shot, so that's a good one. We still need that, so let's just go up. Find the 3 here. Put in auto shot. And the next thing we want to do is that we go down again. And then we see here. What is there else? So we have this one, that's the last one. Let's check it out. And here you can see, oh, okay, well, that's the Night Elf racial. So we don't want to add that one, but we want to add the humans racial. So let's check up here for the warrior. Let's see, okay, what do we have here? Like this ID, that might be the human racial. And sure enough, it is. So let's add that instead. So here, we still need to duplicate it. So duplicate here. row, duplicate row with keys, and human, hunter, button 3, and here we paste the ID. So now we actually have all the action stuff. Now we want to go into the skills, so player create info skills. If we click on that, we can now see all the skill lines here. The way you now do, so we add, because normally a player, or sorry, not a player, a human doesn't know how to use a bow. Well, a hunter needs to know how to use a bow to use it, of course. So what we want to do here is that we want to add to this. So normally this is just because I have it already set. So normally the race class would be 650, and that's because all the races that needs to learn this has been added up so it matches. And now we need to add the class mask. Well, that's 4 for the, what is it called, for the hunters, and of course we need 45 for the skill line. But as I said, this doesn't include the humans, so we want to, because the class race mask is 1 for humans, we will add it as 651. Now the humans know how to use bows, and I have some great things to use here. So the thing, like, I will leave a link to these pages. So the first thing is the class IDs here, if you need to know, need to find them somehow. The next one is from Trinity actually. It's a real great thing to look at. Here you can actually see how the race masks work. So the thing is that you see here, human has 1, then it goes to 2 with orcs, 4. It multiplies by itself all the time, like multiplies by 2 all the time. The way the mask work is that you, like, let's say we want the blood elf only. We want the blood elf only, and we want turrets to only be able to use bows. What you would write here is basically just plus this. So that's 544 instead, and you would add it here. So that's just explaining how that works for the races. And then the classes, it's the same again, you just put it together. So you can see for hunter, that's 4. That's it can get a little confusing, but again, hunter is 4, and you just look through this list. I will of course post it in the description so you can just log in here. Okay, so we added this now. Well, let's actually just start the server so we can make sure that it all works. So, oh, not that one. Let's start the server up here. And then we want to start WoW. And then we want to do like this. And now we want to click the human hunter, because that's what we are added in this video. It's basically the same for everything else. So just play around with it. Want to add a shaman? Well, you just do it for the shaman instead. All the things we did. So here, let's see. We click, oh, it created. And as you can see, no errors, because the server now knows about a hunter human. But if, let's say, we go in and we try again to make a shaman, since I didn't add that, you can see, click accept, error, creating a character. Well, that's because, again, we didn't add it in the database yet. So now we can go back, we can go into in-game with a hunter. I love my loading screen. Let's go in, and now you can see we have all our abilities down here. We have the auto shoot, and as you can see, we even have the bow equipped, because we now have the bow skill as we just added. And of course, you can use the bow as you would like, and we will go over and use a simple raptor strike. So that was all for the video today. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one.